And ask everyone to please find their seats, and that while our bar mitzvah is speaking, if people could stay towards the back. As we turn to our parsha, to our Torah reading, and turn to our bar mitzvah, Jason Gurvich, to chant from the Torah reading, this would be a good time that if any of our guests have cell phones, lest we be distracted from Jason's words or the service at hand, turn them all off, please, for the duration of the Sabbath. I'll take the service. Jason, we call on you to share with us words of Torah.
Shabbat Shalom. This year, I started at a new school, Hunter College High School. When I first started at Hunter, I only knew 3 other people going there. I knew that I would have to make friends quickly and make good first impressions because I hoped to spend the next 6 years of my life there. Starting a new school, I was wondering about first impressions and how important they really are. First impressions can be important, but I think that they can also be misleading. For example, if you were interviewing someone for a job and during the interview they knock over your coffee, you may not even consider hiring this person because you may think that they are clumsy, but this may have happened simply because they were nervous and may not actually reflect on their character. In this week's Parsha, Parashat Toldot, we read the story of Jacob and Esau, and it made me think about first impressions, their importance, and how they can be misleading. This story begins with Esau, the older twin, out hunting. When Esau returns, he sees his younger brother Jacob cooking lentils. The famished Esau asks his brother for some food. Jacob only offers Esau the food in return for Esau's birthright. Later in the story, Jacob, with the help of his mother Rebekah, trick Isaac into giving Jacob the blessing that Esau was entitled to. Traditionally, this story portrays Jacob as the good guy and Esau as the bad guy. I think that these are just false impressions, formed because we want to venerate our forefathers. I was taught that when Rebekah was pregnant, God came to her and told her that God had chosen Jacob and rejected Esau. Then, when Esau sold the birthright to Jacob, it was morally justifiable because Esau legitimately sold it and because God chose Jacob to be the leader. It was also justifiable when Jacob receives his father's blessing because God chose Jacob and because Esau had already sold the birthright that declared that he would receive the inheritance. We are also taught in a midrash that Esau made Isaac's eyes dark or blind by doing false worship, and that he didn't care about the birthright. You can also look at this week's Parsha without thinking that Jacob was good and Esau was bad, as is traditionally taught. Instead, you can simply think of them as different people. When Esau comes home from the field, he is very tired and hungry. Esau then asks for whatever Jacob is cooking, but Jacob took advantage of Esau's desperation and forced him into selling his birthright for food. This is like shopping when you are hungry. You would buy much, much more. Then, later in the story, Rebekah tells Jacob what he must do to get the blessing that Isaac intended for Esau. Together, Jacob and Rebekah trick Isaac to ensure that the blessing went to the wrong son. Later, when Esau comes back from the field and finds out what Jacob has done, he receives a different, lesser blessing from his father. In this situation, you might actually be able to say that Jacob was wrong because he stole from his brother and lied to his father. Esau appears to be innocent and is in fact a victim. Now, looking at both situations, neither Jacob nor Esau is good or bad, just struggling for control, like 2 sides of a coin. Only one can be on top at a time. Sometimes, people compare themselves to either Jacob or Esau, but they are in opposites. With Jacob and Esau as our paradigm, we too cannot be completely good or bad. So who are we like? I think that we are not like Jacob because we try not to lie and steal to get power. And we are not like Esau, always pushed to the bottom and thought to be bad, cheated out of things that belong to us. So again, who are we? Maybe we are the most similar to Rebekah. When Rebekah was pregnant, She had both Jacob and Esau within her. The Torah says that while she was pregnant, the two of them fought. These are the dualistic forces within us, always fighting. As a result, we are unable to declare that any aspect of nature is wholly good or wholly bad. We cannot delineate a morally superior force. We, like Rebecca, have multiple sides within us that are at times in conflict and at times in harmony. What we first think about Jacob and Esau from the story is not actually what we find them to be upon further inspection. First impressions can make you biased for or against someone. We must constantly analyze, digest, and interpret all stories and relationships. These messages are important to me on my bar mitzvah because now I am at a stage in my life where I need to think about my decisions. I need to decide who should be my friend and what to think about other people as I meet them. We should always be cognizant when meeting people for the first time, not to rely solely on the first impression. Don't only be friends with someone because their mother gives you cookies. Although I say this admittingly, it can never hurt. I would like to thank my parents for always being there for me, both of my brothers for being my mentors and helping me make decisions, Ronit for helping me learn my Torah and Haftarah so well, the clergy, and my teachers for helping me get to this day. People always say that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. However, let us all strive to give people the benefit of the doubt and afford them a second chance. Shabbat Shalom.
Jason, very nicely done, well thought out, and well delivered. Yasher Koach to you.